So here we are doing a little comparison between the Burton Landlord and the Flight Attendant. And they're both 159s. This is more of a powder specific board, but it still can handle groomers really well. Where this is kind of just a really good all-rounder for groomers, for even ride and switch a little, you know, and then setting it back and getting that more of that kind of free ridey powder feel. And you know, Jack and I have been kind of switching back and forth between these two boards. Jack rode these exclusively yesterday, yes. back and forth, and I sampled them again this morning. I've owned the Landlord in the past, and it's such an amazing powder board. It's so surfy off the tail. It just reminds me of, like, you know, that shortboard that's just like a little more than your average shortboard for those like double overhead days out in the water. You know, where you just want a little something more than your average shortboard, and just really drives under the lip, kind of snappy, quick, off the tail kind of board. And it was quick. It's very quick edge to edge off the tail. Everything seems to be back. You initiate that turn off the front foot and you lean back, and everything's just kind of like boom, 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 boom. And where this is definitely more between the feet, and it's super quick too between the feet. So they just have different personalities. This is way more surfy. This is definitely free ride, but it has a touch more all mountain to it. So, you know, they both have that great camber profile that has camber, you know, camber from the tail all the way up to a little bit past the bindings, and then a mellow rocker with big noses. You know, they both have really big noses.
Just like him.
Yeah, side profile. But they both have really big noses and kind of smaller tails.
Just like him.
Yeah, I do have a small tail. But you can kind of see, like, the tail on this one is definitely bigger than the tail on the Landlord. The Landlord tail is just tiny, and it's just all front, and it goes backwards. And you can feel this get a little washy if you're not careful on your turns. If you try to turn like you would like a true twin, like between your feet, you know, you can't really do that. You have to really get some weight back on the tail, where this has less taper and more tail, and they both have that side cut that kind of like compensates for the taper, so it feels more double ender than it should. But this still can feel a little washy, where this still feels more like a double ender. And that's what I really like about the Flight Attendant. It's a much more versatile free ride board, and this is a much better powder board for those who like to be really far off the tail. This is still a great powder board, but this is a better powder board for those who like to be way off the tail, way surfy, like Jack.
I'm buying this.
And yeah, he's taking it off my hands.
Yes.
And this can be surfy off the tail, but this is more fun for those who like to turn more like between the feet. This will allow you to do that. But they're both great, dynamic, fun boards. I personally lean towards this one a little more. Like, I would even probably prefer this a little more in powder, unless it was like super deep, then I might go to the Landlord. But you know, I'm impressed with both of them. I like both of them. I just, you know, I think they could both use a little more edge hold. But you know, I felt like when comparing these with other boards, you know, on the same day, I've been riding a lot of boards, different boards today, and I really didn't feel like these were the strongest of the edge hold group, but they held enough in the hard patches to where it wasn't unbearable. But it's definitely kind of like a medium snow day to soft powder, and that's about it with these boards. And Jack, what'd you think about your
like you said it all. I like them both. They're both very, very fun boards. That one is, of course, more versatile. And no, I like them. I was just riding this one to really make sure that yes, I am going to get it. And for me, I'm just going to use that as a pure powder board for my quivers to set the stance back. Yeah. And like you
were out laying out carves on groomers.
Yeah,
weren't you?
I was laying. I was laying out carves on groomers right here today. And Another thing about this one, like you mentioned, you forgot to mention, you mentioned to me that you could put the stance back further back.
Yeah,
on
this
the
is
Landlord
like
compared to
8.5 versus this is like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like less than that.
Yeah,
I think it's like
compared.
5 or 6 or something
So-
like that. But
But yes, I'm taking this home.